Hi, Michele. Welcome to DigitalOcean Customer Stories. We really appreciate you taking the time to share, more about your business and what you're building and the customers you're serving. So before we get into a lot of the details, maybe let's start with, what do you do? I mean, what is your company trying to solve for, and what are you trying to build for your customers?
Okay, thank you, Shiv, for the opportunity to spend time with you guys.
Yeah.
So Red Crane is a rather new and young company.
Mm-hmm.
We are located in 4 strategic locations in Asia. So we are in Hong Kong, we are in Shanghai, in Bangkok, and Ho Chi Minh. And depending from the market, we work with different kinds of clients, but mostly we assist startups in scaling their business and their infrastructure and improving their products. And we work with bigger enterprise companies in business transformation. This is very specific for the Thai market. And also we develop MVPs and prototypes that are very, very technical. So
Right.
It's not apps, it's not websites, it's not front end, but it's mostly like systems for financial AI or big data or banking solutions.
Got it.
And this is very specific to the Thai market because of the current state of the country at the moment.
Right. Yeah, and it's interesting when we were talking earlier. It sounds like you also you shared like for some markets you're focused on new apps or new business creation, right? And then in some markets it's very different. You're probably doing more digital transformation. And
Correct.
So, I mean, are there, tell us a little more about how your team is structured to handle this, because I think you had a little bit of nuance in your team structure to given this market.
So one of the important things of Red Crane is that it has always been built on diversity.
Right.
So I come from the robotics industry, so during my early years and through all my careers, I've always worked in very diversified teams all around the world. So you could have like a software engineer with a machine learning specialist, one mechanical engineer, and maybe 2 electrical engineers trying to build something together.
Right.
All these people, they come from different backgrounds. They see reality in a very diverse, different way.
Right.
And you need to find a way for these people to work together.
Right.
So me and my business partner, Tewan, who comes from a totally different industry because he's a specialist in finance and business administration, we decided to build a company that represents the same diversity.
Right.
And then offer this diversity to our clients as an edge through our processes.
Right.
So our team right now is actually distributed across the locations and very diversified in terms of capabilities and cultures and nationalities.
Right.
For example, in Bangkok, we have clearly developers, mostly Golang, Rust, Python. We have machine learning specialists and data scientists. Most of our DevOps and CI/CD work is carried out in Ho Chi Minh because we found a great pool of very young and passionate engineers.
Right.
When it comes to locations, and we adopted this like flexible way of working, where actually our team can move freely across the different offices.
Right.
And this is like to improve synergy and also like to speed up some operations for the clients.
Yeah, you said you have a mixed model. People who have a mixed mode, they can work remote or they can be in the office, and so that's really, it's really interesting to see sort of play out. Maybe share a little bit about your personal story and how you came about to doing this, because I think you have an interesting background and how you arrived at starting this company.
Okay, so my background is robotics and machine learning and neuroscience. Right. So that's what I've been doing through all my life, mostly as a freelancer. So not really working in big companies. Then I took a job in Switzerland that brought me to Asia, and where I built a team, again, to do software development for micromechanics.
Right.
And through my stay in Asia, this was quite new to me because I've never been before. So I got to understand the diversity of the continent, and that's where I met my business partner, Tewan, and we decided to build a company that would reflect, let's say, this diversity.
Yeah.
So again, through I started to code when I was like 14.
Yeah.
My first, I was like, the first Linux system I installed was a very early Slackware version.
Right.
It took me like 5 months to get it ready because I didn't have internet at home. So I had to go to download the old how-tos to my dad's office and then recompile the kernel. So it was really, really intense.
Yeah.
But through all my career, at the very beginning in robotics, we needed to do real-time computation.
Right.
This could be visual processing or motor control, speech processing. And at the time, the power of the computers was not enough to do everything on a single machine. So I started to dig more into distributed systems and RPC and IT, networking. And this has been like a major, a major aspect of my work, both like in freelance or academia or enterprise, that has been carried out through the years. And then with Tewan, we decided to start to do business together because we spotted the need of many companies to, again, improve their workflow, automate, and business 4.0 or scaling in case of startups. And this is how we build the company.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you also shared something very interesting. This is now your 22nd country you live in?
Correct.
Wow, that's quite impressive.
So when I was a kid, my dad was taking care of, let's say, mergers and acquisitions. So all the time the contracts were like not very long. It was always like locked in time.
Yeah.
So I found myself like starting school here in Italy, finishing it in UK, then going back to the same school in Italy, and then the semester after going to another place. So my life has always been like, I don't know where I live. So already during university, I started to study a bit abroad, and then after I took, let's say, technology as a driver to visit different countries, places. And then when I arrived in Asia, I was very surprised by the extreme diversity. That was very new to me. It was like one of these scenes in Star Wars when you land. When they land on the new planet and everybody and everything is so different. So it was a bit like that. And then, again, by being surrounded by a very multicultural environment, because I'm Italian, I don't have home since many years. My business partner is Thai, but Thai Indian, so it's like both cultures. My girlfriend is Vietnamese. Our team, again, is mixed, so it's like this very diversified environment where you have a lot of cultures to take care of, and it's not just the specialization, how to make maybe a data scientist work with a system engineer, but it's also like how can different people communicate, and especially how can they solve the little issues and the little glitches that might happen during.
Yeah, and the diversity is actually a good business practice too, because you're able to, at least my understanding is even the different markets within Asia, even just Southeast Asia, are very different. Because culturally and languages, and so I think this actually works to your benefit.
Correct. It's very important to, clearly if you're in the Thai market, maybe it's easier for a Thai national to understand what are the needs and what happens in a meeting, or what is the best way to interact with a client or with the team. But it's also true that by having the right processes and company culture, we can actually benefit internally by these different backgrounds and cultures. So this is why we have this free office policy in which developers can actually rotate freely across different locations, or work from home, work on site, depending on the projects, or depending on the client, or depending on their personal desire, maybe to be on the beach for 1 week, or in Vietnam to discover a city the week after.
Wow. What lessons have you learned that you can share that perhaps somebody else who's listening in or watching this can as they're building their journey on building a company or a business, like what would you share?
I think the most important thing is to have, for me, has been to have a direction, to have an idea of what we want to achieve.
Right.
And this is very clear, it's very simple to say, but sometimes, on the day-to-day basis, it's quite easy to lose your mission, right? So the mission for us was very, 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 very important. Secondly, a company or a business is made by people. And in our case, we have diversity, we have locations, we have differences in age and in culture and in background. So what is very important for us is the company culture. So and in a way we also, in our company culture handbook, in a way we also have the workflows that we use. So how to work agile, how to interact.
Like the norms, the day-to-day norms of how everybody...
The framework, because then this is like a set of rules, and then somehow people are always going to be flexible around them. And the most important, perhaps, lesson for me was always to let the team come up with the best solution, but providing them enough guidance and experience and maybe seniority to make the right decision at the right time. Maybe sometimes also by, letting them go a bit their way and then try to improve the situation in the next iteration. So remain agile and flexible without too much infrastructure, too much rules, just framework and direction, I think, is what is more important for us.
What inspires you, or who inspires you? Is there, is there somebody that you look up to or get inspiration from?
So my background is I'm a technical person. So I've been dealing with computers since I was very young. My favorite toy was a Lego. And I've always been doing this kind of nerd things. So one thing that tech people sometimes, that we are not really good in doing, is to be pragmatic. Everybody feels a bit like an artist. So I have to do this project with the best technology, and then without really evaluating what might be the consequence on the client or the consequence on the budget or the team. So I think one story that was very inspiring in my case for my current business is the story of the uncle of my business partner. So my business partner had this uncle in Thailand, and it was very, very famous in building suits, business suits. And then, he was building suits like as part of his life. It was a tradition of the family. But at a certain point, the business started not to go so well. So actually he was losing money to prepare the suits, but he would not give up the business because that was his passion. So what happened is that in his case, to put together the full product was not convenient anymore. He couldn't scale the business any further. Actually, the business was contracting, so it was actually going to fail. So what he did instead, he has been in this case, has been very pragmatic. He didn't focus on building the full suit anymore, but he just started to think, what is the most scalable and kind of business that is connected to that word? And in that case was buttons. So he specialized in selling buttons, and he became very successful with a more simple business, not more simple, more niche. He became very successful in scaling his business and overseas and not just in Thailand and so on. So in that case was like, something is not going right. Let's analyze the situation pragmatically. What can scale of what I'm doing and what is not sustainable, and what operation I need to do in my organization to reflect this, this new direction.
Wow, so that sounds like you take a lot of the learnings from that to your current business too, and
absolutely, because I think if you run a tech business like us, we have to interact with a large variety of clients. So our clientele might be a startup that needs scaling in China, or might be a company that wants to improve some on-prem system because they're spending too much money and they have to somehow reduce the cost in Thailand. Or maybe a European company needs some sort of a complex microservice. So in a way, we interact with a large variety of people and backgrounds. And I believe that as a tech company, we need to think also in a business way. Yeah. Otherwise, we will not be able to provide the right service to our clientele.
We like to empower small teams to scale and have big impact. So, from your perspective, why did you choose to work with DigitalOcean, and in what ways, does working with us sort of
So I've been a DigitalOcean user since many years.
Yeah.
I think I was I was in this initial batch of developers that really appreciated the SSD on the droplets. So for me, DigitalOcean has always been where I keep my IT stuff. So if I do something for myself, it has always been on DigitalOcean. Then when we started to build the company, we had the need of keeping our infrastructure, like mail servers or pipelines, CI/CD or development tools. And honestly, I think that DigitalOcean is just simple and easy and was super fast and performant for us. So we always kept on DigitalOcean our own infrastructure and tooling. And for simplicity and performance again. When it comes to our clients, instead, we always use DigitalOcean again for the CI/CD development tools and so on. And now we started also to deploy them on Kubernetes, which is a new entry, and that's very convenient for us because anyways, we always work with Terraform, Ansible, we do everything by code.
Right, by code.
So by also having proper support in Terraform, it makes it super easy for our engineers to automate. And then also clearly, if you do business in Asia, you want to have good latency. Yeah. So for Thailand, we are very satisfied with the Singapore servers and with we also use the Tokyo servers and also in Amsterdam sometimes. Yeah. Okay. So ease of use and performance and good customer support because every time
support is also really important.
That was always very fast and on point.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Michele, thank you very much for your insights. We really appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to spend time with us. And all the best and success in your business. And looking forward to seeing you guys grow.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.